Welcome, everybody. Today is a crazy, crazy episode. I have a co-host that works with me. Her name is Stacey. Stacey is also my girlfriend. Stacey, can you say hi to everybody?
Hello.
Stacey, we got a few questions for you because quite a few people ask about you. You have an upcoming show, and you were on my first premium episode that was only released to certain people. It was one of those episodes that was kind of gripping. And how did it feel to do that episode?
I don't know. I was nervous at first, but once I got into it, it was kind of exciting to do.
Okay. Now, did you ever have any interest in getting involved with the podcast in the very beginning?
No.
So I kind of pressured you into doing an episode with me over a heated topic that we won't discuss the topic, but that was some heat to wax, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in doing the Boston episode, you did it along with my colleague Steve, that travels around with me different places across the United States here and there, not all the time. How was Boston for you? How did you like that whole ordeal?
Um, it wasn't bad. I wish it wasn't as cold. I wish that we had a little bit more time out there because it kind of stinks traveling 12, 13 hours somewhere and you get 4 or 5 days.
Right. So, in doing stuff like that, I know it is kind of rough. I like when my trips are about 10 to 12 days here and there. Now, going further on into this, like you support the podcast, you post everywhere for us on Facebook and things like that. And it's greatly appreciated. A lot of people, with the start of this podcast, always thought that there was more than one person behind it. So one day I had to keep constantly asking you. We came up with the idea that you would come on because I had that heated incident and you were passionate at that moment. And we literally sat in our living room and you were in a recliner and I was like in a chair or something, and we recorded the episode.
Yeah.
And history's there. So the audience has a few questions that I'm going to ask you real fast. And this is a special episode that I'm doing. This was the spur of the moment. She's sitting here with me. Anyway, I'll edit this out. But going forward, you have a lot of things that you have going on. You are the manufacturer of the cups. You take care of the vinyl. You take care of all that other stuff, don't you?
Yeah.
And doing that, is it very time consuming?
It is. And then you get frustrated easily because it doesn't look the best and it could look better, but then you also realize that you're just starting out doing it and things will progress.
Okay, and the thing about it is all the cups are I'm getting tongue tied. I wanted to say magnificent, but I'm going to go with marvelous. And the thing is like the weeding part of this, like we're not going into too much detail of Cricut stuff. If you want to know about Cricut stuff, you can go check out all kinds of Cricut stuff all over the internet. But actually pulling apart the detail with that tool, is that the most time consuming?
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of hard to place it on the cups too because you want to make sure it looks good because you don't want to put something on there that looks like trash.
Okay. Now, fan questions. I'll have to go over the voice messages with you, but these were some that were asked of me to ask you at some point. Everybody wants to know what's your favorite state because we travel together everywhere. What's your favorite state you've been to thus far?
Probably North Carolina.
It is something about North Carolina. Like when we were in North Carolina, I will have to say, big ups to High Point, Greensboro, Asheboro, any type of borough that's in North Carolina. Your food down there is amazing. What is your highlight being down there?
I think that I liked it so much because you weren't too far if you wanted to take a drive to the beach or something, but it was also country enough to where it felt like home without being home.
Right, and it seemed like that there was a Walmart everywhere. Like you had an upscale Walmart, you had I want to say this consciously, you had an urban Walmart, then you had a middle class Walmart, and then you had the slum Walmart.
Right.
And it was like, and this is around Greensboro. Going around Greensboro, we went to all these different places, and I found some of the greatest discounts of my life at some of these places. And then when I travel to other states with you, we notice that it's not the same.
Right.
Not every discount is equal. And to the other places, no offense or anything, but North Carolina was nice. We ate at some little, I forgot the name of that restaurant we ate at, but it had the best fried food I've ever had in my life. We went to that little pub place or whatever, where the bar, and it had the fried. What was it? Oh, it's slipping my mind. It was something fried. I'll have to look at it later. Jake's. That's the name of it. Jake's. Okay. Jake's had all this different fried food. So if you're in Greensboro, High Point area, definitely stop by Jake's and get you something to eat. And then outside of that, here's another big question, because we're going to have some movie episodes soon. One big thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be reviewing Godzilla versus King Kong. That is one of our upcoming episodes. That's one thing that I have been in the bag on. We're going to make it a romantic evening and do it today. Today's March 31st. We're going to drop it very soon. So what are your thoughts on Godzilla and King Kong? Are you excited about it?
I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready for it.
Now, who are you siding with, Godzilla or King Kong?
See, those are hard to make those decisions, because, you know, you got one animal that's a land animal, and you got one that's, you know, can survive in the water. So it's like all Godzilla has to do is drag King Kong into the water and it's over with. True. But, you know, that's not how they're going to go with it, obviously, because anybody can make that up. So
my thing is this. Godzilla breathes out some kind of blue fire. Like, yes, he does. He's got a fire. It's like, that's not the sound, but that's the sound I'm going to make for it. So he's got a blue or orange fire. He could just burn that monkey.
Right.
And Godzilla, as long as I've watched him since 1988, Godzilla beat up Ultraman. Ultraman was my dude growing up. So King Kong, I mean, he's all cool. They made nice little movies about him. He had a decent video game when I was in high school. But King Kong ain't shit on Godzilla. Godzilla just goes, and he'll smack him with a claw with his little. Because the only thing I'll say is that, you know, Godzilla does have some gimp arms. His gimp arms might cause an issue, but outside of that, unless they're fighting in the city.
So he could remind you of the little T-Rex off of the Robinsons.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he has stout arms, but he ain't doing that with his arms. If he can't blow you up, he's got to swing his tail to kill you. And if he's doing a one-on-one fight, yes, Godzilla will not beat King Kong, because King Kong will give him hands. Or as Braun Strowman says, he'll give him these fists or something like that.
These hands.
These hands. Yeah, these hands.
You're going to get these hands, yeah.
All right, so another topic. What are some of your hobbies? What do you like to do? We watch wrestling. We love professional wrestling. I will say that. We are avid WWE. We love AEW. We actually go to AEW events.
Right.
The product, we'll leave that for the other podcast to talk about wrestling. I'll just say AEW came in really strong, and it's kind of, not going to say it's fizzled, but I watch NXT over it.
Right, and I would rather watch AEW over NXT. I mean, after all the time that, you know, we've watched it, I can't get into NXT. I will watch Finn Balor's match because I started with him on the main roster, but I do like AEW better.
Adam Cole, baby.
I know, but you got to think, I didn't get into wrestling until about 2018?
Yeah.
Whenever we first met. So, you know, I'm still kind of new to the whole wrestling ring, and whenever I find people that I like, you know, they go somewhere. Johnny Moxley, you know, followed him over to AEW. So, you know, it's still new, and I think with the, you know, the whole pandemic thing, they kind of got, you know, slowed down.
Yeah, and here's my question, and I hate to make this into a wrestling podcast real quick, but do you think that Kenny Omega is overrated?
Yes, I do. I have not seen what everybody talks about out of him yet. I will admit, you know, I enjoyed his match. We were at the pay-per-view where Kenny Omega and Johnny Moxley did their No Holds Barred.
In Baltimore, Maryland.
Yes, and that was their first one. It was interesting, and I'm not saying he's a weak wrestler, and I'm not saying that he's not good. It's just I feel like maybe AEW isn't bringing out the best potential compared to what I've been told about him.
And I mean, like I'll say, he did 5-star matches over there in Japan, but that's a different group. That's a different wrestling prowess. That's a different style of wrestling to a degree and how you tell the story.
Right.
And I wholeheartedly agree with you that he has not shown me anything that's prolific. Now let's run over to WWE real quick.
Yes.
Who's your favorite wrestler over in WWE?
Male or female?
Male.
See, that's a hard one. I mean, I think my favorite individual wrestler. I mean, obviously, my favorite tag team is the New Day.
New Day?
When there was 3 of them. I don't know. I'm gonna have to think on that one.
I'll say mine, and this is weird because I'll tell you, this morning I had a chance to watch old Impact Wrestling, so I got to watch AJ Styles evolve. I didn't know it, but I realized today, and I just noticed, like when I play the video games myself, I have become an AJ Styles fan. It's something about him. It doesn't matter where he's on the roster. If he's fighting for tag team belts, Intercontinental belt, the WWE Championship, the Universal Championship, he can bring out the best in wrestlers, just like a Dolph Ziggler or a Bobby Roode would. Those are my top 3 guys.
Right. I used to follow AJ Styles really closely when I first started into it. I don't like him as a heel. I'll admit that. I just, there's something. I don't see him as that. Yeah, Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre and like the bigger guys, like the larger guys, I guess you would call them. I can definitely see them as heels, but I'm just, hard time convincing me that he's a bad guy.
Well, with his new help, he's got the biggest help in the business right now.
Yeah, but that's help. You have somebody there to that's got your back in case somebody decides to attack you.
Okay. And female-wise, who's your favorite? Everybody knows my favorite is Bayley. I have a thing for Sasha Banks, but for some reason, Bayley, just how she's transformed her character, because the one thing that is great about Stacey, and I'll tell y'all, is she went back and did the research. She got on to SmackDown and the different things that were on Hulu, and she watched the back catalog and caught herself up. So she learned about the great CM Punk, about probably one of the most underrated wrestlers, Zack Ryder, learned about the dismissal and the abrupt end of Ryback, and quite a few other stars that I will not name drop. And what was that boy's name that had that losing streak? He's Brian Myers now. He was Zack Ryder's guy, the dude that lost all the time. Anyway, I forgot his wrestling name, but so much. And sorry about that, dude. I forgot your name. You were very memorable. But it was so many there. But like female-wise, to me, when you look at promo on the mic, you look at wrestling ability, and actually being able to wrestle more than 20 minutes, Bayley does that. Charlotte Flair is overrated. Charlotte Flair is great.
She is.
But my thing is me and you both know, wrestlers have set spots. You know you're going to get the moonsault out of her in a top-tier match.
Right.
Going with Charlotte Flair. You know you're going to get some extraness. And then in her low-key matches, you're not going to get that extraness. So you actually have a template for how she's going to wrestle. Oh, this is going to be an A match, a B match, or a D match.
Right. I did enjoy Becky Lynch. I wish I could see more Naomi. And like you said, I kind of did the backlog of Hulu stuff. So watching her on Total Divas, her and Natalia, getting their backstories, I learned to like them a lot.
Okay.
And it's just the female talent is very limited right now. I don't know if it's because the women are fighting with the WWE or if they're going to blame it on COVID or what they're doing. But I feel like since Becky Lynch had to leave for her pregnancy, everything has went downhill from there for the women.
And I kind of feel that way too, because like I look at the evolution of Lacey Evans, and no disrespect for anyone for getting pregnant and having children or whatever you want to do, but I felt like Lacey Evans was about to be the future.
Right.
Like she was really strong. She had a good background on her. Her wrestling matches were subpar. They weren't the best, but she could still wrestle. And then the whole thing with the Riot Squad, like put them together, break them apart, bring them back together. What are you doing there? Ruby Riot is such a talent. It's a shame that she gets wasted.
Right.
And the Liz Morgans and the Mandy Roses and the Dana Brooks, to me, they're kind of a mirror of each other. Different sizes, but the same package to a degree.
Right.
And then with the loss of Sarah Logan and pregnancy, once again, pregnancy took a lot of people out because you had a lot of free time, I guess, during COVID. Just like with her husband, the tag team division, I believe that in wrestling as a whole, it doesn't matter where you go, tag team wrestling is probably the best wrestling you get.
Right.
Across the scope. Now, I will say this. We have watched minor things of Ring of Honor, and I don't know how this turned into a wrestling podcast, but it did. I will say I hope to see Andrade over there in Ring of Honor, because there's a big thing that can go on over there. But back to WWE, with the women's wrestling, what do you think about the tag team division?
I think the tag team division is very lacking. Because who are you going to have strong enough that they have right now to go up against Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax?
Nobody.
Like, nobody's going to win a clean match against them. So I don't know why they would put them two in a tag team match together. Like, I could see maybe putting someone else with them, like one of the skinny, not skinny, because one of the smaller,
like bring back the
smaller women.
Bring back them, because they're a heel tag team. They could cheat and win a match.
Right.
So I agree with what you're saying there, definitely on that one. And then you kind of could see that there was some type of swerve involved somewhere, because how are they going to come out the back burner and come up with NXT women's tag team titles?
Right.
And I noticed, though, during the tournament, even though you didn't watch too heavily, I noticed that when you groom a tag team on the lower level, because we'll call NXT their indie level,
right,
when you're grooming them there and they're getting that chemistry, those teams look better than the main roster. That's my whole problem with the women's division as a whole on the NXT level. They look, sound, and are polished better than the main roster.
Right. And I feel like, so this kind of goes back to the pregnancy thing. You lost the Bellas, Brie Bella to pregnancy, Nikki Bella to injury. She just, they both just had babies again. Who'd you say? Sarah Logan,
yeah,
pregnancy.
Sarah Logan.
And released. Now, Becky Lynch, pregnancy. I mean, yes, these women deserve to have their family, create their family. It's nothing negative against them at all. It's WWE's way of bringing other people in to kind of replace them or fill in while they're gone. It's like, oh my gosh, they're pregnant. What do we do? And they scramble to find something. So they don't have a background of being able to temporarily have additional people in there. And I feel like the women down in NXT, they're like, hey, we're just starting out. We're going to be put on NXT. We know we're not going to, have a family. So we're going to give it everything that we have. And that's not saying the people at WWE don't, up on the main roster, don't give all of that. It's just their way of putting it out there.
Okay, and I agree with that, because it's like you said, like if we were there wrestling right now, I know I'm going to be hungry because I'm not going to make that much money off of this and that. And I got to show people I'm worth taking that risk buying that t-shirt, buying that action figure, or whenever they come out with a wrestling game again.
Right.
They do that and go from there. And like I said, earlier on, I was talking to another podcast that does this out of Morgantown, One Fall Wrestling. I'll give y'all guys a quick shout out. It's crazy this podcast turned into a wrestling podcast, but it is kind of hard, because at NXT level, those guys are competing with AEW.
Right.
WWE is not competing with anybody.
Right.
Because no offense to Impact or any of the other stuff, Impact is not even competing anymore. They're hanging out with AEW just to get ratings. So, and Ring of Honor has always been a place that builds WWE's talent, because you can look at the Seth Rollins from when he was Tyler Black to Daniel Bryan when he was Bryan Danielson. You can see that Ring of Honor ushers in the talent, and then they go to WWE. So that's something that hasn't been broken, and I won't even disturb that with conversation, because that's how that is. It ain't going to go no opposite way. And you get your best trainers from Ring of Honor and other places. My thing, like, going forward, like, I noticed, like, we used to have a set way that things were groomed for us to embrace wrestling. Like, we had a wrestling game every year, something that was very tough and very good for us to play. This year, we didn't get that. We got that random game that I have it in our collection. it went on sale. I don't think it was ever at a full market value price, because I think it hit the ground running at $40, and now you can get it for $20. And like I say, we put it in one time and never played it.
Right.
I just downloaded it, so it's sitting on Nintendo Switch catalog. And then buying WWE 2020, whatever, playing in it. It was probably the worst video game I've ever played in my life, besides the 2018 on the Switch. And the 2018 on the Switch was actually polished. So what's your thought on not actually having a video game to play, or something to keep you tied into wrestling?
See, I'm never really got into the wrestling games, so that doesn't bother me. I mean, someone that is a constant game collector, obviously I have, starting from 15 to 20, I have all of those games on the PS4, but, how many times have we actually sat down and played them?
Not very much, but it's like the idea of just, to me, it's the idea of thinking of, if I actually wanted to play the game, I cannot play the game now, because there isn't a game. There's this, I don't even know the name of the new WWE game. That's how off it was. We seen it somewhere. We were in, let's just say we were in Columbus, Ohio, because we're always in Ohio. Seeing the game out there, I was like, I gotta have it, because it had Stone Cold on the front. I seen the Bella doing her little dance in the little video or the trailer, the trailer for it. And I was like, I gotta have it. So it's got some older characters on there. I'm a Bret Hart fan. That's my guy. And went from there, and that was that. Now, I'm glad that we were able to tie wrestling into it. Got a little bit more conversation out of you. Maybe we'll have to do a wrestling podcast once a month. Another question that comes up, because everybody, for some reason, there's true crime podcasts, there's movie review podcasts, I'm a celebrity, so I've got to do a podcast. Then there's the 2020 people like me, the 60 Minutes people that do all these other things. So I never get too tight and personal in any of the interviews, because actually you're a co-host, so we'll be out here doing this over the summer with other people, having a good time with it. What is your favorite movie? That's the hardest question for people to ask and answer. I can say mine first, so that'll give you a little time, because I always do that with everybody. My favorite movie is Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. Do I watch it every year? No. Does it come on TV very often? No. But I like it just because I'm a cinematographer. I'm a Criterion Wireless type guy. I mean, not wireless, I mean Criterion film guy. So, sorry, shout out to Criterion Wireless if you're out there. But anyway, I like it because it has Bill Murray. He's got certain comedy. It's the way I tell jokes. That's why I like it. So what about you? What is a movie? This is the hardest question for so many people. What is your favorite movie?
It is a hard question because, there are so many movies out there that you can look at and it's like, oh, this is on, I'm going to watch it. And anytime that movie you see it's on, it's like, I always have it playing. And then you got your different genres, Are you looking for something to cry with, laugh with? Are you looking for some guts and gore and all that other stuff? And something to make you jump.
I can make it easy for you. What was your favorite movie of this year?
I don't remember.
I know what my favorite movie of last year was, even though we watched it now. It was that Russell Crowe movie.
Ooh, Unhinged.
Unhinged.
That was a good movie. Yep.
It helps me take out my frustration with other drivers. If I watch it before I travel somewhere.
Right. And I saw myself reflecting back, what if this person in front of me is like that guy on the movie and he's just going to chase me down and try to kill me, And I was about ready to beat my horn at somebody because they were just sitting there at a red light. And I took a second and I'm like, what if this happens? And I calmed down a little bit, I breathed, and I moved on.
Now, I'll say this. Now, my highlight is everybody knows that I'm a showcase. I love to show all things, not show all personal things, but movies. Your father, Doug.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my Lord. Whenever I get a good movie, I like to, we zoom on out there to the county and go see him. And I put this movie on for him, and we're all sitting there watching it. And there's certain scenes that I cringe and I jump up in. I'm not very animated in the movie. Most of the time I'm watching it, I got a phone in my hand, we go some extra. But it's one movie that I actually sit back and watch. To the delight of me, your dad sat there and watched that whole movie. He just sat there straight up, got a glass of tea or lemonade, something. He watched it. And anytime I bring it up, it's become one of his favorite movies.
The Unhinged?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think everyone, even your mom, sat there and watched it.
She did. My mom hardly ever watches movies with us. She'll take her phone and her iPad and her second tablet and her second phone, and she'll go back to her bedroom and watch her soaps.
So the crazy thing is that I'll leave a little flash drive with the movies on it, and bar anybody I know, you're going to say whatever you're going to say, so that's cool too. But the thing is that he's kept it, and he asked me how to work it, and I don't know if he's gone back and watched it, but I want to assume that he's probably gone back and watched that one movie out of 74 movies.
I'm going to say he has not, because as many times as we can sit there and explain it to him and show him how to use it, he's not going to. He is always going to watch the same movies that's on TV. What was on TV this weekend? This past weekend.
Well, I'll say this: he's watched Justice League over 40 times, the regular cut, not the Snyder cut. Justice League comes on. What else comes on TNT? It's TNT that he watches.
Yeah, it is.
TNT does Suicide Squad so much. What's the Rock movie they do? They do like 4 Rock movies over and over.
Any of them, he'll watch them all.
Yeah, San Andreas and Cross. And it's not even the good Rock movies.
Right.
Jurassic Park movies.
Yes.
They play continuously.
Rocky. He is if Rocky's on TV, he's watching it.
And then for some strange reason, Aquaman gets some plays on TNT, but I don't know what's going on over there. And he's not a fan of the Star Wars stuff or nothing like that, but he does get a few good movies in.
And he'll even watch the Twilight movies, which, I can't get you to watch them with me yet, but eventually we'll get there.
One day, or I'll close my eyes. I've never seen Twilight, Lord of the Rings. I watch certain things. I don't watch every single thing that's out there.
Or Harry Potter.
Never seen Harry Potter. Star Wars, Star Trek, all day long. And one movie that has caught my attention that I've never seen the movie Dune. It's about sand and some science fiction shit. Mm-hmm. Oops. We're not an edited show, so we can say whatever we want. But anyway, it's just one of those deals where I just don't get into that, and it's not my forte. So we didn't get a movie out of you yet. So I'll go on.
I've thought about it. Like there's, I like Selena. I guess I like the real life, based off a true story type movies.
Okay.
And Pearl Harbor. Those are the 2 movies that anytime that they're on TV, you're going to see me watching them.
All right. Now, what about Disney? Because everybody has a fantasy with Disney.
There are so many Disney movies.
But there's got to be
one. That's just trying to pick a Christmas movie. Like there's not a favorite there.
Well, I'll say this: where I'm a romantic, I love The Rescuer and The Rescuer Down Under. Those are my 2 favorite. And then if I could get a third one in there, just because it's from the year I was born, The Great Mouse Detective, because it's considered one of the poorly received Disney movies at that time.
Uh-huh.
The Disney movies in the 80s up until what was it, Little Mermaid or something to that degree. Even Oliver Company did well, but it didn't do that good. Disney really didn't pick up until the 90s,
Right.
So, and I'll tell you something weird, and a lot of people think this is crazy. I have never, ever, ever in my life been a fan of The Lion King.
Don't you dare say that to my dad.
I won't say it to his face because he might beat me up, but for some reason, The Lion King didn't do it for me. It was Aladdin, the Prince of Thieves.
I liked Aladdin.
Yeah, Aladdin did something for me. And then further on in life, I think what some of the Pixar films are good. I didn't like A Bug's Life. A Bug's Life just didn't do it for me. And
it doesn't do it for everybody. We all can't like the same movies.
Yeah, but that was just one that I like that. And then it was something like Atlantis, something. Some of them early 2000 movies, mainly with Disney. If it's not Pixar, and I have never seen Frozen. I've never seen 1 or 2. Never in my life.
Now, we did start them, and I make you listen to the music quite often.
But I haven't finished them because my one hardened belief is I don't understand how Frozen, out of all the bigger catalog movies, is considered it's the highest grossing animation that they had. And I think when you put it up against other movies like Snow White, Cinderella.
I mean, if you think about it, whenever those older movies came out, our population was low or lower.
Right.
Now we got people out here with a lot of kids, and all of their kids are having kids, and babies are having babies. So we have a lot more people. So I think that could be a possibility as to why, it's so much more. But also, like, it just looks better. Like, they have more graphic design or more whatever you want to call it. Like
the animation is
the animation is a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Now, another question, and this will be our last one because you've been a great sport to do an interview that will be going out very soon. It could be out tomorrow, you never know. Just however we roll. What is your favorite color?
Depends on what kind of mood I'm in. It is a tie between pink and purple.
Pink and purple.
Pink and purple.
And I'm on the purple end.
Right.
The pink, it depends. But...
Right, because, I mean, yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to thank you because, like, this is very spontaneous, and this is a portion of Meet the Host. So we have gotten to meet Stacey. We didn't ask anything too personal. There will be time for you to develop your character over many episodes. I just, once again, I can't do the normal thank you for being on West Virginia Commonplace because you're part of West Virginia Commonplace. So I will leave it at this. There will be more from Stacey. There will be more from me. Stacey is very well-rounded in all kinds of areas of things. So we will have many topics to talk about. There will be more dual episodes, and you guys can always just tune in.
Right.